What does it mean if Boston doesn't win a chip this year? They are 47-12, the best record in the entire NBA. You can argue they have the best starting five outside of the Denver Nuggets as well too. It seems like their coach Joe Mazzulla, who got tossed into the fire last year, has made dramatic improvements. They have an MVP caliber type player in Jason Tatum. Through the Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown whole run that they've had multiple deep runs, even got to the finals as well too. This year, as of right now, they're top 5 scoring team and top 5 in points allowed. They're the number 1 rebounding team. They're number 1 in point differential, winning games by 10.7 points per game, and they're top 5 in blocks. So, what does it mean if they don't win a chip this year?
I don't know if it's gonna suck for sure. Like I'll say this: I think the biggest thing is them at least making the finals. If they don't make the finals, that'll be a gigantic disappointment. I think once you make it there, like it's a little bit different. It's gonna. I think the only person that's really gonna suck for is Jason Tatum. Yeah. Like Jaylen Brown doesn't have a legacy that anybody cares about or anything like that. Like it's Jason Tatum that is really gonna suck if he loses again in the finals. But he's still 26, 27, so like he still has time to say he makes it to 1 or 2 more and wins those 2. Like then you can even it out. But yeah, I think that them losing, I honestly feel like is a high likelihood.
You think so?
Yeah,
So you're taking the field against them? Well, when you say them losing in the championship,
in the finals.
Okay,
in the finals.
Okay,
them losing in the finals, absolutely. Because the West, like we said, the West is deep. The West is really good, and especially if the Nuggets get in there, I just don't see it, man. They be crumbling. That is the thing about, and maybe like we were saying about other teams, this will be the year that they prove like, okay, we're gonna stand up. But I just don't believe that they're gonna be able to pull through. Like it'd be tough for them.
Yeah,
tough for them when it really comes down to it.
And they're one of those teams too, like their bench is mid, but it works out because you can stagger the minutes with their starting 5. But the thing is, with a lot of these teams that have won championships, they've had a great roster beyond their starting 5. So I feel like with them, if they miss one person out of that starting 5, I don't even think they can get to the finals, bro.
Yeah, no, their bench is terrible. Their bench is really awful, but they have like one of those. They have one of those. Not as good, but similar to when KD was with Golden State. Like because Golden State in their earlier championship season and then when they were really good, it was because they had their starting 5 was cool, but their bench was deep as hell. When they got KD, they didn't have no bench anymore, but their starting 5 was so overwhelming that it didn't matter.
Yeah,
so like that's what they're hoping is going to carry them. But I think that one, of course, they're not as good as that team, and I think that the Nuggets. Again, the team I think is going to make it to the finals. They have a very good starting 5 as well.
Great.
Maybe not 5. As they only have one All-Star technically, but like Jamal Murray is great. Michael Porter just went 10 from 10 last night.
Like the new Clay.
Yeah, Aaron Gordon is a great 2-way player, and then KCP is the perfect 3-and-D person.
Perfect.
And then their younger guys are starting to play a lot. Like Peyton Watson is playing a lot better off the bench. Braun playing. He can play some decent minutes. Reggie Jackson's been giving them some decent minutes, which is crazy. I hate that nigga. Don't even hate Reggie Jackson, but I can't lie. Like he's been playing some decent minutes for them, and he's had not for Detroit, but for some other teams, he's had some good playoff minutes.
In the playoffs for the Clippers,
He's had some good playoff minutes before. So
even DJ be giving them solid minutes still.
Exactly. So like I like their depth a lot more.
They just complement each other so well. Like they're just the perfect team, bro.
And I will say this.
They're like a modern day Spurs on steroids.
Yeah, and like they have the best crunch time execution that at least in this year in the league that I've seen by anybody.
Jamal Murray and Joker.
That and also just putting Joker in actions where he can get other people. Like we were talking about all the things that he did. Like that Lakers game last night, it was a 1-point game with like 2 minutes left, and they ended up winning by 10. Because like they just start going crazy. Like he's just like, okay, I'm gonna do the 2-man with you. I'm gonna make sure I tell Aaron Gordon to go over here and do this. Michael Porter's gonna hit at least one shot during this period of time. Like So it's tough. I think that is where teams like the Celtics, I think their late game execution just isn't as good, especially when you have guys like Jaylen Brown who doesn't know how to dribble and things like that. So we'll see.
JB, get that left hand up, boy.